everybody? Spirit of 420 here because everything I do is so 420. Happy Friday. Happy belated 4th of July. I was this close, by the way, to streaming last night, but I was just, it was a long day. So, if the first thing I will ask from everybody, please send out some prayers. I do believe she's okay, but we started off the 4th of July with mom taking a fall. Fell right backwards, like she was getting in the fridge and fell down on her tush. So I was most concerned with, her butt bone, and I'm still a little worried. She has walked up the steps now a couple times, and so all I can tell you is I think that I don't believe there's any permanent damage. I hope not. And I pray not. But if y'all could send out those prayers, I surely would appreciate it. Obviously, this is a woman that does not like to go to doctors. So even though I want her to go to the doctor and get an x-ray, possibly even some kind of scan, whatever, that's the last thing she's going to do unless she's in terrible pain. So that was the way I started 4th of July, which I don't begrudge her at all for it. In fact, I know she was, beating herself up for doing it, but I was just tired because I had to, do everything. It was going to be my mom and I together doing it, but it was only me, mainly because my wife had to go to work. So still had a wonderful day. As a matter of fact, ended up getting some, even though it was just me, I got completely done, got the batteries charged, and even got the drones up by 9 o'clock to get some of the beautiful fireworks around the neighborhood and around the city. And I tell you what, man, maybe it's just me, but I think that this was a, what's the word? An exuberant and an overabundance of fireworks this year. I've been around for a while. Generally speaking, on July 4th, the fireworks are hard and heavy for like 30 minutes, and by 10 o'clock, people are done, right? And also, bear in mind, I actually live in a state where it's illegal. The fireworks yesterday, they were still going off well after 11. I think it was like, I think I was still hearing them at 11:45, which just blew me away, because that is, you can tell that this was a country that had spent a couple of years stifled, from the pandemic and other things, not getting our normal, 4th of July on. And it really felt like yesterday people made up. What was funny is they started going off on the 3rd, right? I already knew it was going to be heavy when on the 3rd they were already, setting them off, going off. And then what's funny is people just couldn't help it. Yesterday, before it got dark, they were setting them off, and ones that really needed to be saved until dark, just because you get such a better effect. Of course, to each his own. Everybody's going to do what they want to do. Either way, I had a wonderful day, and I hope all y'all did too. I had, just like I said I was going to do, hot dogs, hamburgers, potato chips, and baked beans, although my wife decided that we were going to do corn, and my mother decided we were going to do potato salad, which is, in fact, how she hurt herself. Which, don't get me wrong, I love the potato salad. But I had originally planned on trying to keep it really simple, so it was just that, a simple, beautiful, little holiday. That's okay. as I said to Mom earlier tonight, everything happens for a reason. I don't know what it is, but she fell and busted her butt for a reason. Probably won't see it for a while, but eventually it'll show its face. And I will tell you this, I do plan on making it a relatively short night tonight. I have been going, what is it, 10:55? 10:55 for me. I have been going all week, and what I will tell you is I'm still fighting. I try to be very transparent with you folks. I am still fighting depression. The most difficult thing right now that I deal with is getting up in the morning. When I wake up in the morning, all I want to do is just go back to bed. And my dreams are so surreal and so involved that I just, I want to go back to the dream, If you're wondering what I'm doing, folks, I was just closing the blinds. So it's funny because my son was talking to me today about it. And he was like, I just hate getting out of bed. He called into work today. And it's funny because I work from home, but I essentially called into work too. And we use the same reason, my mother. Now, there was truth in mine, although I was embellishing, but there was truth in mine. My mind was not on work, and I was worried about her. And I knew that I would come up here and start working because this is also my workspace. But I knew I'd come up here and start working before the day was over. And I did. And on top of that, I'm actually going to make some calls tomorrow, and I'm going to be working. I have some ideas for this new business. But one of the things that's going on I guess the best way to say it is you want to move forward, but then something always triggers. There's that lovely word that we all know, right? Trigger, being triggered. To give you for instance, I'll be moving right along and doing perfectly fine. And yes, I have pictures of him, but the pictures, it won't be a picture. It'll be, and I'm talking about Skylar here, but it'll be a event or something like that I think of. And, it was a time when he was there, right? And it's difficult to, I think that this is somewhat part of survivor's guilt. And what I'm talking about there is the fact that when you have lost somebody, there's times when you literally feel guilty for having fun and succeeding and doing things well and having good things happen to you because you feel like, they're gone, so you don't deserve it. When in reality, that's not the truth, right? Number one, I'm not saying everybody. I know there's some real jerks out there, and I've always learned to believe that nothing is always the case, right? But I would venture to say that probably 9 out of 10 people who have already died do not wish ill will to the ones that they loved, and they surely don't want them sitting around moping, as we all know, and crying and being depressed about them being gone. The exact opposite is the reality that most of them would move forward and do things that are happy, that make us happy, I mean, I know my son, and it's not like he wants me to stop being a father or stop caring and doing things for, his brothers. That's just retarded, right? Excuse the derogatory word. That's just ridiculous. So let's look at the name for a minute of tonight's show, right? It is the only time we fail is if we actually quit. It was funny because I can't remember it verbatim, so I'm going to look it up, but I posted it earlier today. And it was an easy one. This was a classic Chinese proverb, right? Failure is not falling down, but refusing to get up. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the way that is said, but to me, I say things in a little bit, I guess you could say, more up-to-date way, right? And I try to say them pretty quick, like try to keep it fast. If you quit, you fail. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's the only time you fail. The only time we fail is if we quit. It's giving up that is the failure. And I know some people are like, well, what if you continue, and you never actually succeed? Well, in essence, you already are succeeding in one hand because you're not letting the situation beat you. Think of it like that. It's funny. There's always somebody that wants to argue. So I try to, when I'm having these moments, sharing with y'all, I try to, what's the word? Play devil's advocate, right? Because I used to be one of them. I would argue at any opportunity that I could. And what I can tell you is, if you want to argue that one about failure, right? All I can tell you is I have lived it. And I know several other people who have lived it. And it's why the next two are what they are, right? To change is to learn, and to learn is to live. So if you're failing, or you believe you're failing, right? If you do not quit, you force yourself to learn something new. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over, then you're insane. And the vast majority of us are not insane. So we get to a problem and we keep trying different. It's what we call troubleshooting. And we keep changing it until we find a solution. Tell you what, this one is really hacky. I'm just going to finish that later. I know. I forget to use it myself. So, if the only time we fail is when we quit, right? Then what's the alternative? That means we find a solution. If we find a solution, then we're learning something new. That is a change. You have to change up in order to find the correct solution. And when you do that and you learn something new, then you're living. That's literally what life is, right? I've said this before, but everything that we have, everything that we do, everything that I have new internet coming in on Tuesday, as a matter of fact. By the way, I got my replacement today. For those of you who have been following, got my replacement for the Mac that died on me. That felt really nice. It is now loading up because I have the backup running from Time Machine. By the way, I do apologize. Didn't have time to take a shower. Didn't have time to even put a nicer Morty shirt. You can't even see it anymore. Like Rick and Morty's gone from it, but it came from. There we go. It came from. Oh, what were the name of those fucking boxes? Remember the original boxes that were like crates? The original crate, and it was always like mainstream media of some kind, either comic books, or Adult Swim or something like that. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Doesn't matter. Anywho, that's where this came from, was one of those crates. I think it was my second one. I got an Archer. I got this, and the only one I got that I didn't really care for. I only did 3, and then I quit. But I never watched. I still wear it. What is that damn Walking Dead? So there. As I said, you put these things together, right? You continue to try. You continue to try. With each new try, you're changing something, and you had to learn something new in order to change it. And that is our life. That is our life, right? Some of us choose to experience a life where we are finding new challenges to create new solutions, right? Some of us, no offense, just want to get through life. And the solution for those people is not to necessarily find something new, but just, they just want to be happy. They don't want to create something new. They don't want to study something new. And that's fine. You don't have to. Some people just want to be happy. Those people that just want to be happy many times are the ones that give birth to an Einstein, or a Tesla, right? They're the ones that's just how it works. It doesn't always, people think that it comes from, or I should say, people used to believe that it all came from breeding, that if you wanted smart, you had to come from smart, but that's not the case. No, I'm not saying that smart doesn't make smart. What I'm saying is it doesn't have to be that way. Some of the smartest people in the world have come from people who were average to below average, and vice versa. Some of the people who are average and below average came from people who were highly intelligent. It just happens, right? And there's a reason for it. So remember that. Anyway, I will be back on Tuesday. And as I said, I'm quite happy because I'm going from, I'll tell y'all this, and hopefully some of y'all will get how excited I am, because I only have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday left. But Tuesday I get quantum fiber, and it's going to be 3 gig speed. So I just can't wait. I'm going from 1 gig on cable with Xfinity. Now, for those of you who don't know how this works, Xfinity is a shared internet point, right? Point of contact, whatever you want to call it. It's shared. So even though I have a gig, I never get a gig. I'm not saying that it's slow, but I never got a gig. With fiber, fiber is consistent. And what I mean by that is once they hone into my speed, it's going to stay that. In fact, they just upgraded this whole area they've been doing it for like the last year or so. So I'm actually pretty gosh darn excited about going to quantum, because here's the boot. So I'm going from 1 gig of cable to 3 gig of fiber, and I'm going from $150 a month to $100 a month. To me, it's a no-brainer, right? Why would I mean, quite honestly, it's just a no-brainer. And once I can, I think they go up to 5 gig. So I'm excited. And that goes in that's supposed to be installed Tuesday morning. So I will be on Tuesday night and we'll be able to test it and see just how blazing fast she is. But with all that said, I hope that y'all have a wonderful weekend. I hope that, you know, maybe you take these shows. What I really pray for is that you take these shows, and when something happens, maybe you think about this, and like when you're in the mood to quit, or you feel like you're not going to get past it, just know that many times it's that one last effort. So I'll give you just two quick stories. One is video games. We all know this one. If you're having trouble with something, just walk away from it. 15, 20 minutes, come back, and almost inevitably the first time you try it again, you're going to do it well, right? That's one point. Oh God, did I forget the other one? Well, you know what? I did, but what I can tell you is when you get to any of these places, not in a video game, but in real life, you are supposed to get there for a reason, and that is to learn something new. That's the whole point. When you walk away and come back, you almost inevitably come back with a fresh look, which gives you a fresh solution. And that's the point. Look at it from a different angle, take a breath, and try it again. It's when we quit trying that there is no hope. That's why it's a failure, because if you don't even try, then nothing's going to happen. It's funny because today I ended up watching, throughout the day, I had the sequel to 300. And I'm just going to take a flick dick moment. If y'all remember, I used to do, and the flick dick will make a return at some point. But I'm going to go ahead and flick dick this old film. First of all, it came out 2014, so it was 8 years after its predecessor, right? And I'm just going to say this. First of all, it had a great meaning. There was a lot of the whole concept of not to give up, to keep trying, try different things, learn, like all that's, funny enough, no coincidences, right, was kind of in that film today. But on a side note, as a critic, it is so overly done with the blood and the painted on six packs. I mean, like, you can literally tell that all of the guys, like every single person in there, had painted on six packs. And it's just, it really didn't deserve to be, I'm sorry, it deserved to be made, but it should not have been made 8 years later. That movie should have been made very quickly. You could also see that everybody had gained almost a decade of time, and you just can only do so much to hide that from the camera, right? It's one of those sequels that didn't need to be made. It really didn't need to be made. And the number of sequences within it, the sped up slow motion stuff, right, with the blood. Oh my God. I was like, this is too much. And I mean, the blood just didn't even look fucking real. That's all I know how to say, folks. It didn't look real. It did not. It literally looked like CGI blood coming out. So, like, no. This is one of those movies that when you watch it, it actually is so bad that it's telling you, hey, I'm a movie. And what I mean by that is there's some movies where you get lost. For instance, back in the day when it came out, I remember Avatar. Like, I literally got lost in the first one to the point where, I couldn't see him. And now what's funny is now, and when I say couldn't see him, is like it just all looked the same. Like it looked real. But now that's gone. Even with the sequel, like the CGI stands so above, because it's what we ended up doing is we we do these CGI sequences, and for lack of a better way of saying it, we just do the unbelievable. So now when you see the unbelievable, you almost know inherently that it's a computer driven graphic and not something that is real, or it's a airbrushed six pack. when the shadows move with the I don't understand how they actually, like, they did it somewhat decent, I guess, in the first one, but in the second one it was just like they went by with a mold on each one. Anyway, I hope that all y'all have a wonderful weekend. I truly do. Have a beautiful tomorrow. Have a beautiful Sunday. Have a great beginning to your week. Next week, I will not see any of you because, tomorrow, just to remind everybody, tomorrow is the 6th, right? I'm off on the 7th. That's Sunday. Monday is the 8th. So I'll be back on the 9th. I love all of you. Have a beautiful weekend. Have a lovely time. I hope you get to spend it with the ones that you love most. I'm going to go finish this hacky joint and watch the rest of one of my favorite all-time classic Seinfelds, The Jacket. He's in the bathroom. It's one of the best to me. I'll say this, since I gave a little flick dick in regards to Seinfeld. You have 9 seasons. I'm going to tell you, and most people will probably disagree with me, but the worst season by far is 9, where they got paid the most money. It's absolutely the worst season. In fact, I would rank it like from worst to first. I would go 9, 8, 7, right? From first to from best, if you will, on. So I would literally 4, I think, without a doubt, is the best season. 4, 5, 2, 3, 6, 1. So, and then 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. They really got it's. They went. First of all, they started getting paid stupid money. Yes, he got paid $1 million for that final season, but he was already getting paid stupid money by the time by the time season 7 was around. On top of that, they made Elaine's character just this total, like, all the characters are so different. You go back and watch, because I'm a Seinfeld fan. You go back and watch those. Each season, really, you have like your different groups. You have seasons 1, 2, and 3. You have seasons 4, 5, and 6, and you have seasons 7, 8, and 9. And what I mean by that is that those are the groups that they're in, because the characters of 1, 2, and 3 are very, very similar. The characters and where they are for 4, 5, and 6 are also, again, very similar, and then so on for the last. And if I was going to rank them just by that, the middle section, 4, 5, and 6, is without a doubt the best. And then 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. But in my opinion, I think seasons 2 and 3 are actually better. When you stand alone, when the seasons are, you're putting them standalone, they're definitely better than season 6. Season 4 and season 5 are just. 5 was the beginning, by the way, of Elaine's turnaround when they made her a faker of all orgasms. That was one of the things that, But I want you to do this. If you enjoy the show, go back and watch it, because they are full of discrepancies. And what I mean by that is, one thing that they wrote in season 1, they will absolutely change their stance on it by the time they get to a later season. For instance, in season, I think it's 2, and I might be wrong here, but whatever one is the Stranded, that might actually be 3. But in the Stranded, Elaine talks about wanting to spray paint a real fur because of the fact that she hates that these little animals have died. By the time she's dating Putty, who wears a fur, right? It's not even about the fur anymore. She even says, "Who's got the time?" It's just that he looks like an idiot in the fur. That's like 2 different fucking people. Do we really change that much? I know we change a lot, but would you really go and change your stances on the killing of animals and go, okay, I don't care that they die anymore, but if they die and it looks bad on my boyfriend, then I have a problem. So there you go. I'll leave you with that. I hope that all of y'all again have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful weekend. Do something special, do something unique, get out of the house. I will tell you one thing. I am really starting to come back around more and more. And I mean that, like, it's what Skylar wants. It's what I need. It's what the world needs. The world doesn't need another person just sitting around being upset because I'm not doing the world any good. But if I am happy with myself and doing things, then other people are benefiting, whether it's just getting advice from me or getting actual physical help, mental help, whatever, or maybe just the fact that somebody says, I love you, which I do. I love all of you. I hope you do, truly make Sunday. What I've tried to start doing is I make Sunday the day that I try my best to spend it with the ones that I love the most, those people that are closest to me and mean the most to me right now in life. I try to spend them with them on Sunday. Think about trying to do the same. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful weekend. I love all you guys. See you on Tuesday. Peace.
I switch here, I'm a strange fuck. Consistent ain't something I could say well. Fill my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day a swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.